What's up, YouTube? Brad Hoover from RANTS here. Alright, so Netflix drops first trailer for Ava DuVernay's Colin Kaepernick drama. The first trailer for Ava DuVernay and Colin Kaepernick's Netflix limited series, Colin in Black and White, shows the latter's coming-of-age story. Okay, before I read any further, I just want to talk a little bit about my personal opinion. And it's not anything political in any way, and I'm not talking about any movement, right or wrong. You do you, I do me. That's my personal view on anything. But as far as Colin Kaepernick is concerned, I think a lot of activists out there, and it's one thing that as a football fan, it kind of drives me crazy a little bit, is they try to make Colin Kaepernick into like he was the next Joe Montana. He wasn't. He had one good year, a really good year. He, of course, made it to the Super Bowl, and they lost that one. I actually was rooting for them in that game. I thought he was going to be a great quarterback. I really did. I mean, he could run, he could pass. Seemed like he had all the intangibles to be that great quarterback. But like so many quarterbacks that make it into the league, once defenses started getting tape on him, he slowly began to make bad decisions, throwing interceptions, and eventually he got benched. And then I think he ended up at the end of his career was like third string. And then that is when he started, of course, protesting. I guess probably my biggest question, and maybe it's a controversial one, but why weren't you protesting when you were starter? That's my thing, my view on that. But as far as Colin Kaepernick is concerned, and I'm just saying this for people who support his cause and who are thinking that the NFL really shafted him in a lot of different ways, and maybe they did to a certain extent. But at the end of the day, when you're second or third string quarterback and you bring all that attention and all that problems that are going to go along with that, there isn't an NFL team that's going to take you. It doesn't matter how progressive they are. They're not going to take you because you're more trouble than you're worth. Now look at Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson's a very good example. Deshaun Watson has 22 lawsuits against him, and for maybe even rape in some cases. But yet people are like, well, should we trade for him? Should we not trade for him? I personally, as a fan, as a human being, as a father of a daughter, I find that to be reprehensible. And I'm even a Houston Texans fan, and I can't believe that they're even allowing him on the team. That pisses me off. I won't be watching any Houston Texans games this season simply because of that, and maybe even in the future, because that just upsets me that much that he's still out there. But he is a generational talent, and so people are willing to put up with the off the field issues if he can play on the field. I think that states a lot about how people felt towards Colin Kaepernick in general when it comes to things. They thought he was talented, but not talented enough to really to be worth the problems that would probably probably persist throughout his career. That's my personal take on Colin Kaepernick. Now, as far as Netflix is concerned, I feel like Netflix is really desperate at this point. I think they're starting to realize, okay, we are losing subscribers, hemorrhaging subscribers. In some ways, they're not catching up to the Disney Pluses, the HBO Max, even the Amazon. Like, all of that stuff will eventually surpass them. I really, truly believe that. I think Netflix is on the decline, and I think they're just trying to stir up controversy at this point. think the whole He-Man thing was just another way of getting controversy, to get people excited, to get people to maybe subscribe to watch something to see if it was as bad as it is. I think this is going to be the exact same thing. So if you're a fan of Colin Kaepernick, you're probably going to watch this. But also, if you're a fan of Colin Kaepernick, you got to realize in this one state too, Netflix is making money off of his cause at this point, and off of maybe the cause that you support. I kind of find that to be a little reprehensible in a way, and I'm a capitalist by all measures, but I feel like to that if you're part of this cause, and then for Netflix to then use this cause to make profit off of, like so many businesses really truly have over the last couple years. I feel like that's very disconcerting, just for liberty in general, or for any cause. I wouldn't want that for any cause that I supported or didn't support. Simply because, look, I feel like people, if something matters to someone, corporate entities shouldn't come in there and use it, exploit it. And it kind of feels like that's kind of what they're doing to Colin Kaepernick. But anyways, let's go ahead. I've talked enough about this. Let's go ahead and let's read a little bit of this. It basically just states, it says, young Kaepernick basically telling what he does. In the trailer, it says, young Kaepernick walks through one door and steps on the other with his hair braided as a school administrator gives him a condescending glance. His hairstyle changes yet again with another outfit change as Kaepernick attempts to decide his own fate with girls and friends. Finally, he slips on a football helmet to change the game by writing new rules, taking back power, and finding his purpose. The more I read that, I'm like, I almost kind of, again, I know he's making millions off of it. I know that. But at the same time, like I said before, I feel bad for him that all these, like Netflix and all these corporate entities are somehow uh, trying to make it like he changed the game. He didn't change the game. He only annoyed fans for about 2 years there. That's about it. That's the only thing that he did. But by annoyed, I mean, because if you've watched football the last 2 or 3 years, well, I'd say the last 2 years, it's let's talk. The commentators are less interested with what's going on the field, and more about concerned about Twitter feeds. You can see that in the NBA. You can see that on the NFL. You can see that even somewhat in MLB. You can see that big time, and I just feel like uh, there's a malicious intent there when Netflix is wanting to be a part of it. So I don't really understand why even Kaepernick, for all the money in the world, would want to do this, other than he's trying to create his own brand, which is, like I said, if you're a fan of Kaepernick, um, it wasn't ever supposed to be about him, I was thinking. It was supposed to be about his cause, but it seems like this is making it all about him, how he changed the game. Which, like I said, if you're a football fan, you will know that that didn't happen. Anyways, it says Kaepernick's teammates celebrate with him after making a game-winning pass, which didn't happen often, so I understand why. Lifting the quarterback above their shoulders. The trailer ends with Jaden Michael transforming into an adult Colin Kaepernick as the title Colin in black and white appears on the screen. The limited series chronicles Kaepernick's coming-of-age story as it tackles issues of race, class, and culture, as it looks back at a black adopted child of a white family. Kaepernick will narrate the Netflix series. Um, I don't know. You know what? I've been shocked before. I would not be shocked if this wasn't a huge hit for Netflix. Though I feel like Netflix is, like I said, taking advantage of a cause, and they're taking advantage of a young man who's trying to, in my opinion, make it more about himself and his brand than the cause that he supposedly is supporting. That's personally my opinion on that. But as far as Netflix is concerned, Netflix has gone down when it comes to their material. And I'm not necessarily just speaking on this, I'm just talking about there is less and less interest in me wanting to subscribe to Netflix when compared to other places like HBO Max and even Disney Plus. With Disney Plus, I'm like, okay, I'll get The Mandalorian, I'll get some Star Wars and Marvel, and I'll be cool with that. HBO Max, I'll get DC. What does Netflix give me besides documentaries like this? What you can say Tiger King gave us that. But besides that, it really doesn't give you much. So I don't know. I feel like Netflix is going to be just hemorrhaging more and more customers, and this is going to probably bring up the controversy that they're wanting. While I personally find it stupid that it's even a controversy anymore, taking that it's 2021. All of this has been years in the past. I mean, it shouldn't even be controversial anymore. I think people that were against him when it come to the kneeling, I think have come to the conclusion that at the end of the day, it's not just him. So it was, other players, and they've continued on doing it. You can say, well, he was the root cause of that, and maybe he was. I don't know. I just feel like it's just, I don't know. And I've always been this way when it comes to anything, when it comes to sports. I kind of feel like it's great if you want to use your power to promote your causes. I just personally always, whether I agree with it or don't agree with it, like it to be off the field. And I don't see why it can't be. I really don't. But that's just as a fan of football and a fan of sports. I just like things more about sports, I guess. And I'll leave the news to the news. But hey, you know what? I understand why they do it to a certain extent because, hey, it brings attention to that cause. But I don't like the idea that it brings attention to the individual people that are a part of that cause. Because if it's supposed to be about the cause, it shouldn't be about the individual. And I feel like Colin Kaepernick is, in a lot of ways, is either being used or is trying to take that cause hostage and profit off of it in a lot of ways. That's just, like I said, that's just my personal opinion. Love it or hate it, but let me know in the comment section. Are you excited about seeing this? I probably won't be watching this. I probably won't be watching it. I thought it was interesting that they are making one. I feel like it's about almost kind of like I felt towards the Black Widow movie. I feel like it's just about 5 years too late because I feel like this really isn't that controversial anymore. I was watching the FIFA World. I mean, not the FIFA World Cup, but when they were, when the England was taking the field the other day in soccer, and they were all kneeling, and I'm like, it's not even newsworthy anymore. So I'm like, okay, if this was made like 2 years ago, this would have been the a Netflix gem in a lot of ways. But unfortunately, it's just I feel like I made a little bit too late. But who knows? It might be a complete and total success for them. All power to you, Netflix. I feel like I wish that you were back to your old ways of giving us at least somewhat good quality content. I feel like if you want to go towards this documentary way and you want to make, with He-Man or Colin Kaepernick, if you want to go that way, I just kind of feel like you probably lost my subscription in a lot of different ways. Because I want to, at the end of the day, I watch these things to be entertained. I really do. If I want to watch that other stuff, I'll watch the news. That's the way I feel towards it. But anyways, guys, let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. You gonna watch it? You're not gonna watch it? Does this make you want to subscribe to Netflix or not want to subscribe to Netflix? Which it kind of makes me not want to subscribe to Netflix. But hey, the He-Man thing had already done that for me. So, but anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Y'all take